Hello and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be answering the question, what is the difference between regular and irregular verbs? A regular verb can be identified by the pattern as you can see in this grid here. If we take the example of walk, the verb stem, in the present tense I would say I walk. There's an exception to that rule when we look at the third person. I would say he, she, or it walks. When I move to the past tense, if I'm saying something has happened, like I walked, in this example I would add ed to show it is in the past tense. If the stem of the original verb ended in an e, I would then change it to simply a d being added to the original stem. What I'd like you to do now is apply this by using the three sentences below and spotting where the verb is, and if possible, highlighting whether the present tense or the past tense has been used, and if not, what's the other mystery tense? Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, how did you get on? Yesterday, Luke walked to school alone. So, that's in the past tense. That has happened. He did that. Luke walks to school every day. Walks is in the present tense. The fact it's in the third person is the reason why it has the S added to it. If I were then to use the mystery future tense, tomorrow Luke will walk to school with Pete. Will walk is what will happen. But this is the form that we would expect a regular verb to use. For many verbs in the English language, it's the same system, and we can easily identify these verbs because they don't follow any exception. What I'd like you to do now is spot the tense of the regular verbs in each of the sentences. And of course, I'd like you to identify the regular verbs in order to be able to do that. Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, what did you find? The nurse advised them to eat bread. That's in the past tense. It's happened. She told them to eat the bread. We talk each day to make sure it is clear. Talk. In this instance, that is present tense. It's an ongoing thing. Each day we do that to make sure it's clear, whatever it is. Drillen plays on his computer. He enjoys gaming. This is an ongoing thing for Drillen. It's in the present tense. He continues to do this. As is his enjoyment. He enjoys doing this. This is also in the present tense for him. If something is ongoing and happens regularly, it's present tense. However, Mina danced with friends at the party. Past tense, because she did that. It's not happening now. It's over. So what is an irregular verb? Well, as irregular suggests, this type of verb doesn't follow the pattern we would expect of a regular verb. It doesn't form its past tense or past participle in the usual or regular way. Each of the sentences below uses an irregular verb. What I'd like you to do is identify the verb in each sentence. And if you can, guess at how the verb is irregular. Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, the bubbles will burst. This person seems very certain of that. Burst is the verb. Simon was bound by law to tell the truth. Well done if you noted that there was an infinitive in that sentence, to tell. And finally, Joe has taken my pen. So on the face of it, you might know that they're irregular because I've told you, but how can you really know the rules so you can spot your own irregular verbs without being prompted? So here's the answer to our question. how we can learn irregular verb rules. There are 3 major groups of irregular verbs, and they each have specific rules that I'm now going to share with you. But in all honesty, this is about learning which group certain verbs fall into, and then learning it and memorising it. In group 1, the verb is the same in each of its tenses. In this instance, the first column of our exploration is the stem, and for each of our examples across all 3 groups, this is the same as the present tense. So if I burst the bubble, that's present tense. But if I did burst the bubble, that's past tense. It's the same. The same is true of hit. I hit the ball. I had hit the ball. These are important, but they're the same in each tense. Now with the second group, the verb is the same in the past tense and its past participle, but it's different from the original stem, or in this case, present tense. I swing the ball is in present tense. I had swung the ball is past. I find the food delicious is in the present tense. I found your food delicious is in the past tense. These are different. Finally, the third group is probably the most interesting to me. It's different in each tense and it's different from the stem. So I swim becomes I swam in the past tense. And then in the past participle, I had swum all that way. I take care of you. I took care of you. I had taken care of you. These are 3 vastly different versions of the same verb. So it's worth identifying which group other irregular verbs fit into. More on this to follow in future videos. For now though, spot if the verbs are regular or irregular in each of the examples. And by all means, hit pause if you need thinking time. It would also be amazing if you could identify whether it's in past, present, or maybe future. So, how did you get on? What did you find? Kylie had taken Scott's money without asking. That's an irregular verb. That's also the past participle. I swung my tennis racket to hit the ball. Now, we're assuming this is in the past tense. It's irregular. We called the police when the car went missing. That's regular and it's in the past tense. And went is irregular and in the past tense. Donald lives on another planet. This is the regular verb and it's referring to Donald in the third person. There's no doubt regular and irregular verbs are famous for confusing people, but our job is to learn the rules for regular verbs and learn the groupings for irregular verbs in order to be placing in our shared understanding of the 3 major groups for irregular verbs, so nothing throws us. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar for all things English, literary and grammatical?